When we talk about black superheroes who changed the game, a few names always come up: Black Panther, Storm, Luke Cage, but there's one hero who doesn't get enough recognition, despite being one of the coolest, most relatable, and most revolutionary superheroes ever created. His name: Static. This was a hero unlike anything we had seen before, a nerdy black teenager with the wit of Spider-Man, the powers of an electric god, and the swag of someone who knew exactly who he was. He wasn't a sidekick. He wasn't a stereotype. He was his own hero. But what makes Static so special? Why was he created? How did he impact black superheroes? What are his greatest moments in comics? And why does he still matter today? This is African Reads Comics, and today we're doing a deep dive into the history, legacy, and future of Static. Part 1: The birth of Static, the hero created out of necessity. Before the 1990s, black superheroes in comics had a huge problem. Sure, we had Black Panther, but for years, he was treated as a side character in other people's stories. We had Luke Cage, but his early comics were just blaxploitation fantasies, filled with outdated slang and street-level stereotypes. We had characters like Falcon and War Machine, but they were always second to their white counterparts, Captain America and Iron Man. Black superheroes were either sidekicks, angry bruisers, or background characters, but almost never the main event. Then came Milestone Media. In 1993, 4 black creators, Dwayne McDuffie, Dennis Cowan, Michael Davis, and Derek Dingle, decided they'd had enough. They created Milestone Media, a black-owned comic book company with a mission: heavy checkmark, create superheroes who reflected the real black experience. Heavy checkmark, tell stories that weren't just about crime and violence. Heavy checkmark, make heroes that felt just as real and relatable as Peter Parker. And from that mission, they created Icon, Hardware, Blood Syndicate, and, of course, Static. Static was different. He wasn't a government agent. He wasn't a king of a hidden nation. He wasn't a hard-boiled tough guy with nothing to lose. He was Virgil Hawkins, a smart, nerdy, funny black teenager who got superpowers by accident and chose to use them for good. Sound familiar? Yeah, Static was Black Spider-Man before Miles Morales even existed. And that made him groundbreaking. Part 2: Static's origin story, the Big Bang event. But what makes Static truly stand out is how he got his powers. This wasn't some random lab accident or alien blessing. His powers came from a tragic event with real-world parallels. In Dakota City, gangs were out of control. The police, desperate to end the violence, deployed a mysterious experimental gas at a gang fight. They didn't care about who was innocent or guilty. They just wanted to end the problem. But instead of stopping the fight, the gas mutated the people who survived, giving them incredible powers, but also making them targets. Many of these survivors, now called bang babies, were hunted down, criminalized, or feared by society. Virgil. He wasn't even part of a gang, he just got caught up in the chaos. Now, with the power to control electricity, he had 2 choices: heavy checkmark, use his powers for himself and stay under the radar, heavy checkmark, or step up and become a hero. And with that, Static was born. His origin wasn't just about getting powers, it was a metaphor for the way black youth are often criminalized, feared, and treated as threats by the system. Milestone wasn't just telling superhero stories, they were making statements. And that's why Static's origin is still one of the most powerful in all of comics. Part 3: Static's powers, why he's more than just that electric guy. Now, let's talk powers. Static isn't just an electricity user, his abilities are way more versatile and scientifically accurate than most people realize. He can generate, absorb, and manipulate electricity. He can fly by magnetically levitating metal objects, which is why he rides on a metal disc. It's basically a hoverboard. He can shut down technology, hack into computers, and disable security systems. He can sense electrical currents, meaning he can detect people even in the dark. He can absorb energy attacks and redirect them, making him nearly invulnerable to electrical damage. Basically, Static is an OP genius when used correctly. Part 4: Static's greatest storylines. But what are Static's best stories? Here are 3 of his most iconic arcs. 1. Rebirth of the Cool. 2001, Static returns after a long absence to find Dakota City overrun with crime. He teams up with other Milestone heroes to take back the city. A great story about legacy, responsibility, and how a hero finds his way back. 2. Static vs. Holocaust. Holocaust was one of Static's deadliest enemies, a fire-powered bang baby who built a criminal empire. This storyline explored black-on-black violence, power struggles, and the consequences of using power for selfish reasons. 3. Static joins the Teen Titans. When Static joined DC's Teen Titans, it was a huge moment. He proved himself by taking on major threats like Brainiac and Starro. Finally, he was recognized as a major hero on par with Robin, Cyborg, and Superboy. Part 5: The Future of Static. Where does he go from here? Heavy checkmark. Static, Season 1, 2021, successfully rebooted his story. Heavy checkmark. Michael B. Jordan is producing a Static Shock live-action movie. Heavy checkmark. Fans are demanding Static join the DCU alongside Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. The world is finally recognizing Static's greatness. But one thing is certain: Static isn't just a superhero, he's a symbol of what black superheroes can be. He is the future, and his best stories are still ahead of him. Long life Static. Now, I want to hear from you. What's your favorite Static story? Do you think he deserves a bigger place in the DC universe? Let's get the conversation going in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another breakdown of your favorite black superheroes and comics. This is African Reads Comics, and I'll see you in the next one.